Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here, especially everyone from media. We really appreciate the interest and the enthusiasm on such an important issue as $15 an hour. And I just wanted to start by putting what's going to happen next year in the context of the historic events that have happened this year. The CTAC Prop 1 for $15 an hour has passed. Despite all the naysayers and all the myths surrounding this question of $15 an hour, it has happened. People have spoken that this is something that they think of as an urgent necessity. Seattle has elected a socialist to city council, a socialist who ran on $15 an hour, taxing the super wealthy, and someone who is advocating measures for affordable housing. And I think this is truly a remarkable period we are living in, and not the least of which, not the least of the events is the fast food workers movement. And we have an important representative of the fast food workers here today to join us, to lend his voice to what we're talking about today. So I wanted to quickly give you a summary of what our plans are, what we are launching, and then we have some really wonderful speakers here to join me, and I am so happy to have them with me here. First of all, 2014 is going to be the year of $15 an hour in Seattle. That much is clear. The question is, what do we do? How do we do it? And we are to that end, to the end of achieving $15 an hour. We have been meeting with council members, other people in the city and county government. We've been talking to community groups, community organizations, especially organizations that represent people of color, low-income, oppressed minorities. And most importantly, we are talking to workers. We are talking to the working people of Seattle who have the most at stake on the outcome of these initiatives. And I think they are the most important stakeholders to be brought to the table. And we are spending a lot of our time talking to all our different allies and talking to ordinary people out on the street who may not have the time to engage in research and policy work because they're busy holding down 2 or 3 jobs in order to pay rent and buy food. But it is extremely important to get their voice heard, and part of my job as a representative, as a person who was elected with the mandate of $15 an hour, is to engage them. And we are getting ready to launch a place where everybody in Seattle and outside Seattle who wants to see $15 an hour in 2014 to get involved. We will be launching it on January 2nd. And if you go now to the website, it will give you a form, an online form to sign up. I really encourage and appeal to everyone listening to this on the radio or watching this on television or reading about this in the newspaper. Please go to 15now.org and sign up, because we want to hear from you. We want to see your name and contact information, because that will tell us that you care about this issue and you want to help me, help you. Help me as a city council member to do my job and get involved, because nothing is possible without your engagement and involvement. And we are going to be releasing details of the ideas we have for $15 an hour very soon, very early next year. We're not ready to talk about that today because it's not something that we want to come up with unilaterally. As I said, I'm talking to community groups, I'm talking to people about what their needs are, I'm talking to research economists and policy analysts, people who have a lot of experience doing this kind of work, asking their advice. What do you think is the best thing to do? One thing I can be clear about, though, is that while there are a lot of people talking about $15 an hour, it's absolutely critical for us to make clear that we don't want inordinate delays. This cannot happen over a decade or so. This has to happen as soon as possible. And whatever legislation we come up with or referendum we pass has to be as inclusive as possible, because the vast majority of working people are going to either directly or indirectly benefit from $15 an hour. What $15 an hour will do is not only improve dramatically the standard of living of the people who are making less than that today, but it will also benefit the workers who are making more than 15 or 15 today, because overall the passage of this kind of major legislation will empower working people across the board. It will empower the organized labor movement across the board. And we are talking to labor allies, to the labor movement, both the leadership and rank and file workers. We're discussing with them. We're also going to be discussing with the mayor-elect Ed Murray. We hope to be working with everyone collaboratively, but we are clear about our agenda. Our agenda is in favor of the working people of Seattle, and we want to do this as soon as possible. With that, I'll stop for now, and I'll invite our speakers today. Our first